Back out at Scheumann Stadium here on the post-game show. SportsLink Game Day as Ball State defeats UAB here today, 51-31 in the home opener. And we're joined by offensive coordinator Joy Lynch. Matt Craig, Mick Tidrow here on the post-game show. Congratulations on the victory, Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Offense played well, especially in that second half. 30 points in the second half. What was the difference from half number one to half number two?
Yeah, just the ability to sustain some drives, and we made a few bigger plays and got some chunk plays, and then good in the red zone. That was the thing today that until late, we were scoring touchdowns in the red zone, which is huge. And when you talk about scoring points, you got to do that. You can't settle for field goals. So that was really encouraging today.
Coach, with all that wealth of talent at running back, Malik Dunner, James Gilbert, Caleb Huntley, how do you decide when to use those guys, and are they for different reasons at different times?
Yeah, sure. Definitely have different strengths and weaknesses, and of course, Caleb being a young freshman back, he can really run it, so we try to keep him on, base down and distance plays where we can run the football or play action pass and not ask them to do a ton in pass protection. But we have different packages that, personnel that they know they're in the game to make sure we're keeping our guys fresh, and having a lot of good backs is a good thing. We're able to keep them fresh, and that's a challenge for us. They all need their touches because they all can make plays, and then late in the game in the second half, hopefully we can wear down some opponents like I felt like we did today a little bit.
We saw the running backs have that sustained success, but the receivers as well. Justin Hall, a freshman, how has he been able to come in and impact the squad?
Well, he's a football player, and he's a really smart kid, and so he's been able to pick up the offense really well and not just play one position. So that's the one thing as a young kid. Oftentimes they can really only learn one position, but he can play multiple positions. We can get him lined up. We can create some mismatches with them, and then the game's not too big for him. He's one of those guys that no matter his high school film or out here today, he just plays, and he can make plays, and he did that today.
Throughout the two games, you guys have been in a lot of third down situations. You've done a good job converting them, but would you like to see maybe get a few more first downs early?
Yeah, there's no question. I don't know what we ended up today on third down. I know last week we were 57%, which is really good, and I think we were probably pretty good today. But there's no doubt we're getting more chunk plays. We're staying ahead of the chains at times, but we're in a lot of third downs, and typically you don't want to be in those situations too much. But we'll take this win, and we'll keep getting better and find a way to get some more explosive plays.
Ball State offensive coordinator Joy Lynch joining us here on Facebook Live. SportsLink Game Day out of Scheumann Stadium after a 51-31 victory against UAB. Coach, the offense moved the ball successfully in the first and second half, and then going against that Illinois team last week where there were 24 points. What have you liked so far through these first two games about your offense?
Yeah, to be honest with you, they're playing like they practice, and that's something we talk about as coaches all the time. Is just be consistent. And if they're consistent and we know how they're going to perform, we can put them in position to have success. We don't like kids that are up and down and roller coasters because you really don't know how to coach them and how to put them in position to have success. And that's one thing through 2 weeks. They've played how they practice, and that's all we can ask for as coaches. And I think the future's bright.
And with Malik Dunner, how he was able to be effective running the ball, kick returning, how is his offensive ability going to play out the rest of the season?
Well, we got to keep getting ways to get him on the field. With those backs, with James Gilbert and Caleb Huntley and Malik Dunner, they're three of our better football players and guys that can make plays for us. So doing a little bit more, out of the backfield in the passing game with him, and he had some catches today, and we'll continue to do that. He's a running back, but we can line him up in the slot, and we can do different things, and that's going to be the challenge, to make sure we get our best players on the field. But that's a good problem to have.
Ball State offensive coordinator Joy Lynch joining us here on SportsLink Game Day. Coach, thanks and congratulations here today on the victory.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Ball State wins today's home opener 51-31 against UAB. Let's get to the highlights here today. Offensive attack, 30 points in that second half, highlighted by Malik Dunner, James Gilbert, and Caleb Huntley here today with an offense that bursted onto the scene. Riley Neal looked strong in that first half. Matt, Craig, Alex Thomas, I'm Mick Tidrow here on SportsLink Game Day. An all-new access look here at Ball State football, but Malik Dunner taking it right to the defense of UAB.
Yeah, he's one of those three running back options. He gives you that speed around the edge, as you saw right there to the pylon. First touchdown right out of the gate on the first drive for Ball State.
Able to get a nice stiff arm there on the outside, and he's that speed back that Ball State loves to use. Burst it to the outside, gets the Cardinals on the scoreboard early.
Riley Neal getting in on that action. First half touchdown to Danny Pinter.
I really felt like in the first half that running game wasn't really clicking, and Riley Neal definitely had to take more responsibility as he finds Pinter right there for the touchdown.
Hit him right in stride, perfect pass.
We talk about this UAB running attack. It wasn't the running backs that really took over today. The quarterback, A.J. Haley, he took over 40-yard touchdown run there.
They knew coming in it was a scrambling quarterback. They knew there was going to be that read option, but they still really struggled, especially in the first half, to keep contained on Erdley on the outside.
His big plays all day kept UAB in the game in the first half.
With his ability, had a couple of touchdowns, and then Riley Neal to Justin Hall, the freshman wide receiver. He played well here today. The defense for Ball State had a little bit of a struggle in that first half, containing early, but in that second half they really pulled through in that game.
Yeah, there was a moment here where it looked like UAB was just going to be able to run all over Ball State. They did have 336 yards rushing, but Ball State won the running game in the second half with big runs like this from Huntley.
52 yards from Caleb Huntley. Just a freshman, he was able to barrel down.
Could you imagine, just a few months ago, high school kids were trying to tackle that kid in the open field. I don't know how you would do it.
He took over for James Gilbert much of that second half, but then Gilbert here got one of his 2 touchdowns in this play. Both of those touchdowns coming in the second half on short runs.
Gilbert, a touchdown machine last year, able to get it done, struggled yardage-wise today, but came up huge in those goal line situations.
I just really felt like in the second half there was those slow, methodical drives for Ball State, just a few yards at a time, and UAB couldn't stop it. As Coach Lynch said, the defense got kind of worn down for UAB, and Ball State took over.
Defense got worn down. The special teams unit of UAB got burned a couple of times. This was the big one. Off the bounce, Malik Dunner takes it, grabs it at the 7-yard line, goes 93 yards for his first career kick return for a touchdown that helped explode Ball State's offense in the second half.
I mean, at this point, UAB had just scored. It was definitely still a game. And then Malik Dunner said, nope, that's the nail in the coffin. At that point, it was a 2-touchdown game, mid-third quarter, and Ball State was rolling.
It's those kind of plays that were missing last year from this Ball State team. The big plays, Dunner able to get it done, pushes it forward, and like you said, really kind of gave him some comfortable distance there in the fourth quarter.
5 touchdowns between the running backs here today. Huntley with 1, Gilbert with 2, as here is his second touchdown, and then Malik Dunner with 2 of his own. So the running back core, a strong offensive point here today. We've talked about it so much from last year to this year, but really this is a staple in this offense.
Think about how hard it is to scout against this Ball State running attack, because you have 3 running backs that can do different things, and on that one, 2 of them were in the game. So how do you know which one's going to get the ball and how to play it?
And the defense comes in, fumble. They had the punt block. They had a fumble recovery. So late in that second half, they continued to push the ball, didn't slow down the tempo. And then Justin Hall gets in his first career receiving touchdown.
At this point in the game, I was really impressed because Coach knew coming in had said, we want to work on finishing games. They did that extremely well in this one, running the ball and making stops on defense.
And all-around win for the Cardinals. You mentioned it. They pulled away, and that running game that we thought was struggling in the first half really pulled through in the second half and allowed Riley Neal to open it up.
So you get to see Ball State its first victory here this season. It's a home opener, 51-31 victory. Riley Neal, 23 of 34, 217 yards with 2 passing touchdowns. But it was Huntley, Hall, nearly 100 yards apiece, respectively, in their positions for the freshmen.
Yeah, how about Justin Hall in the receiving game? Another really strong game, 94 yards receiving and the touchdown, and he made a lot of clutch catches on third down for Ball State.
Huntley was the difference maker for me. 89 rushing yards in that touchdown. That was the big play that Ball State needed in the first half to kind of get out of that lull. And UAB had lined up so many in a row with Erdley that Huntley's run really sealed the deal in the first half.
51 points for head coach Mike News, Ball State Cardinals. Let's take a live look at the press conference.
As we talked about all week long, being resilient. We're disappointed, obviously. It was hard last weekend, but we quickly put that to rest. We came back out, had a great week of practice. Our upper class guys and our captains did a great job all week long. We want to come out. We want to put on a great effort here for 4 quarters. We wanted to put on a great effort for our fans. There was a lot to play for, and so I'm excited that we finished the deal. Really proud there late in the third quarter. You know, they got a little bit of momentum there. When they scored, they went down the field. There was a 1-touchdown lead, I think just under 30 seconds left. And then that kickoff return and Malik Dunner to take it to the house. Man, that really was a great job of, as soon as we lost a little bit of momentum, we took it right back again. So very proud of that, because that was really the turning point in the game for us, because then we came out in the fourth quarter. Our defense did a great job. Special teams did a great job with the punt block. And so there was a lot of exciting things there, but most importantly, I'm proud of our guys for finishing the deal.
Talk about how valuable the special teams effort was with you mentioned the kick return, the punt block. I mean, those are really kind of bonus plays in a game.
Well, Coach Doherty does a tremendous job with our special teams, number one. We spend a significant amount of time meeting-wise. We spend a significant amount of time during the course of practice drilling special teams. And so it's hard because most of these young men, they all come here and all they think about is offense. All they think about is defense. They don't typically realize how significant and how much of an impact special teams make in determining the outcome of every game. So he has done a great job getting all of our players to buy in, to being a contributor on special teams. And so I'm proud of that because he, is like anybody, like the rest of us, he took it hard last week because, obviously the end of the game and getting asked the question, hey, if you had it to do over again. Well, listen, we came back out, we drilled it, we had a great week of practice. Our guys did a great job of showing discipline, staying in their lanes, and covering the kicks, covering the punts, and having a big return like that was big. Corey Lockenary had a couple nice returns, so it was big for our guys.
The young players, Justin Hall, Caleb Huntley, Bryce Cosby, led you guys in tackles. They've really contributed really so far. What have you seen out of them that's really been so encouraging?
I think just the stage is not too big for them. I know I said that last week when we had so many young guys play in that first game. We're on the road at Illinois, Big Ten opponent, but man, the look in their eyes on the sidelines and throughout the course of the game, man, I love the look. The look is, I want the ball. I want to be in a position when the game's on the line. I want to be in a position to make a play when my team needs me. I love that look. Those guys are tough, man, and I am glad that they're on our football team. And I know that those guys love to compete, and they can't wait to get back out and let's get our preparation started here for Tennessee Tech.
Obviously had a pretty good crowd on hand today. How important is it to be able to kind of take advantage of those opportunities when you have a lot of people here to play as well as you guys did, especially in that second half? We
got to play well to make them want to come back. Our guys know that's the challenge that they accept. I accept that. We accept it as a staff, but we want to play well. We want our fans to come back because they mean everything to us. When that place is loud and there's people in the seats, man, that you feed off of that. And I know that sounds like a cliche. Everybody says that when you have a big crowd, but that's awesome. When you come out there and it's a beautiful day like it was today, the weather was awesome. To have our fans there and to give them something to be excited about here at home for our first game is important because we need them back here with the same kind of environment next week against Tennessee Tech as we try to get 2 in a row.
UAB had a lot of chunk plays and ended up with 500 yards. Will that be a point of emphasis, I assume, this week now?
Well, always. They were doing a good job.
We're joined now back at Scheumann Stadium by Malik Dunner, running back for Ball State. 2 touchdowns here today, Malik. Thanks for joining us here on the show.
Yep, no problem.
First time on SportsLink Game Day for Malik. Malik, you guys had 5 touchdowns by the 3 running backs. What was the key for you guys offensively here today with the running backs?
Coach preaches, whoever's in the game, you have to make plays when the ball comes your way. And you get in the game, he trusts all 3 of us, so when we get in the game, we just got to make a play when our name's called.
And with the 3 of you all being so successful, all of you have a little bit of different style. In that running back room, does that breed some competition?
Nah, not competition. I mean, we all, feed off each other, I be in the game one play, James tell me this person blitz, or Caleb's in the game, I tell him this person blitz. I mean, we're all in it together, we don't preach competition or none of that. We're all equal, and when we get in the game, we just got to make the plays.
And in the first half, you had a touchdown run. How was that able to help spark out that offense in that first half?
Obviously, we got to score points. So, I mean, get in the game, my name's called, and I just got to make the play when it's, presented, We needed a touchdown, so I saw some holes, and I got it,
93-yard kick return for a touchdown in the second half. It was a close game until you were able to bust out that run. What did you see on that kick return that allowed you to get through?
We had a pretty big return in the first play of the game. I think it was like 35 yards or something like that. And we had missed some guys on the backside and stuff like that. And then Coach flips the formation the last play of the game. So, Mark, off return, he gets himself up, gets a nice block, and it just springs me. I'm like, all right, we're going. Here it goes.
And when you're staring down the field, nothing but open space, what's going through your head at that moment?
Oh, well, today I was pretty tired, I would say. I got to the 20-yard line. I'm like, oh, my God, am I going to get called out? I don't know if I can make it. Next thing you know, I'm in the end zone. It's like, all right, we're here.
And your first week back here, Scheumann Stadium, what was it like to be in front of these fans again?
It was great. A lot of enthusiasm, and Muncie about us. Cars go back second year with Coach New, and I thought it was pretty great today to be back in front of our home friends and to be even better next week with Friends Weekend and stuff like that. And so.
With offensive coordinator Joey Lynch, his brother Kevin Lynch is the running backs coach. How have those two as brothers been able to help you guys as a running back core?
They just preach, it doesn't matter if it's the running backs, the receivers, or anybody. We just preach getting the ball to our playmakers and making the play when it comes to you. So it doesn't really matter, what position or who's in the game. If you get the ball, you got to make a play. That's simple.
A win here today in the home opener. What does a win like this do for you guys going forward into Tennessee Tech next weekend?
Definitely a confidence builder. We let one slip away last week at University of Illinois. And us winning at home is a big thing.
51-31 victory, Malik, here today, home opener. How does that sound for you guys?
It sounds pretty good. Great confidence builder going into practice and stuff like that. So, it'll, carry on momentum, off, for the rest of the season.
Malik Dunner joining us here today on the post-game show, SportsLink Live. Malik, thanks. Congratulations here today.
No problem. Thanks.
Joey Lynch and Malik Dunner joining us here on the post-game show. It was a game of the second half, 30 points for Ball State football in that second half. It was a 51-31 victory, but around the Mid-American Conference, many teams in action throughout the course of week number 2 here in collegiate football outside of this game and the 20-point victory for Ball State. Purdue defeated Ohio here today 44-21. Army took down Buffalo by just 4 points, 21-17. And the big game, the one to watch out for, was that Michigan State 28-14 lead against Western Michigan. There's 10 minutes left in that fourth quarter. Alex, that's a big one to watch. Just 14 points separate those two teams.
And Western Michigan put up a great game last week at the Rose Bowl against USC. That's a tough non-conference first 2 games there with USC and now Michigan State. They still got some time. That Western Michigan team, although they lost head coach P.J. Fleck, they're still a very, very strong team moving forward.
How exciting is that? Open up with USC and Michigan State. When they get to MAC play, that's going to be a bit of a surprise for MAC teams, just how strong those Western Michigan players are.
Northern Illinois taking it to Eastern Illinois, 38-3 lead there. Central Michigan, an 11-point advantage against Kansas with just 12 minutes left in that one. And then Kent State, they're holding their breath against Howard, a 31-24 lead. There's still 12 minutes left in that one. Howard can get another big upset.
And just like we saw today with Ball State, UAB is a tough team. You can't look past them as you move forward. Same thing with Howard and Kent State. Kent's got to get that one to build some momentum moving forward.
Yeah, Ball State has 2 non-conference games left. They should hopefully both be wins to get some momentum moving into the MAC. If one of these other MAC teams slips up now, who knows the ripple effect that's going to have when it comes to conference play.
A lot of eyeballs keeping tabs on that Western Michigan State game up in Michigan. Well, today, Ball State, that 20-point victory, 51-31 against this UAB team. One more time, guys. What impressed you guys the most, Matt?
I thought Riley Neal was really, really solid. In the first half, that running game kind of sputtered a little bit. It had some moments, but overall, they weren't able to get steady production. During that time, Riley Neal was really consistent, making those big third-down throws, and that's what gave Ball State the lead in the first half.
And that's what you want to see from Neal. When your running game that's your strong suit isn't necessarily working, you need a guy that now sitting as a junior quarterback has the experience to step up and play big. Then I love the adjustments that Ball State made at halftime. Come out and stick to that run game. You know it's your strong suit, so don't shy away from it.
And with that run game, we talked to Malik Dunner, and he was excited because of how all 3 running backs can play. 5 touchdowns here today. We haven't seen something like that for Ball State football. They have that core. He mentioned Darian Green still not even healthy, so that's a potential 4th running back next year that this Ball State team could get. But Huntley, Gilbert, and Malik Dunner here today. Huntley capped it off, this big 52-yard run. They were exceptional today.
I mean, Huntley is the hammer. When he gets rumbling, it's impossible to stop him. Then you got James Gilbert, who's got a little shake and bake. Malik Dunner is the speed. I mean, it's a really exciting trio of running backs for Ball State.
And they're all going to be back. That's the scariest thing, is that this is a young group of running backs in that room. Gilbert would be seen as the leader of sorts, and you know that you can count on him in goal line situations, but big plays left and right from Malik Dunner, Caleb Huntley, all of them coming together to make big plays.
Yeah, and when you have guys like Riley Miller last week, Justin Hall this week, making plays in the passing game alongside, Ball State's offense has a chance to be really special this season.
And these are things that we haven't seen in the past couple of years. You have young players really stepping up for this team, and it completely changes the face of the offense and the defense.
I mean, you want to talk about making plays. Look at Malik Dunner right here, 93-yard kickoff return at a point in the game when it was still very pivotal. It could have gone either way. Malik Dunner kind of reassured that Ball State was going to secure the victory here.
And that's when Dunner had a big gap in which he didn't play in that game. He played the first quarter, had the touchdown running, busted out in the fourth quarter with this big 93-yard return. He's been able to go in no matter what his name's called and go out and produce.
I really feel like the key for Ball State this season is going to be that rushing defense. They got beat up a little bit by Illinois' talented running backs last week. Then 336 yards they gave up on the ground today as well. If they can maintain that, like we said, that offense has a chance to be really good. If they can control the defense, and especially the rushing defense, then we're talking about a team that can win some ball games.
And Anthony Wimbush with 4 sacks on the season already. remarkable. But at the same time, you need to see him be able to impact the run defense as well, and that could be the biggest thing moving forward to next week.
And defensively, you said Anthony Wimbush. He had the 1 sack here today. What impressed you most on defense? You did say they gave up the 330 yards, but what was the big input from that defense?
Yeah, I think in the second half they did a much better job of keeping contain on the outside. On A.J. early in the first half, when they were running that run-pass option, he's able to get to the outside and score. But in the second half, they're containing him to the middle of the field, and they were able to make some stops.
And that was a big thing. Big plays was swung in the favor of Ball State in the second half. You saw Eardley get out for those 40-yard runs. The 40-yard pass will turn to the second half, and it was all Ball State on that side of the ball. Completely changes everything.
51-31 victory for Ball State here today. Next week, it's Tennessee Tech right here, 3 p.m. kickoff at Scheumann Stadium. Back-to-back home games for Ball State. 20-point victory here today, guys. Final thoughts, Alex?
Confidence builder. This UAB team had a lot of athletes, and they're really strong with that run game. That's the triple option is a challenge that you have to face, and it's good to see this defense take it, get hurt a little bit in that first half, and come back in the second so much stronger. Love to see that from this program.
I mean, Tennessee Tech, another Saturday home game at Scheumann Stadium. You definitely want to keep the momentum going and win those home games, especially a team like Tennessee Tech. That's hopefully a game that you can win. Maybe send another message, maybe put a lot of points on the board, get the fans excited.
Well, win number 1's in the books, guys. Ball State defeats UAB here today 51-31 with an impressive performance from the running backs here today. We'll have SportsLink Game Day Live once again, 2:30 right here on Facebook Live out at the Scheumann Stadium against Tennessee Tech when Ball State gets to play its second home game of 2017. Special thanks to our producer and director, Aaron Casey, for everything she's been able to do here today. Pre-game, halftime, and post-game. For Alex Thomas and Matt Craig, I'm Mick Tidrow, signing off here at Scheumann Stadium. 20-point victory. Ball State picks up win number 1.